You do not notice the mosquito at first. You are walking through a quiet park after the rain when a thin buzzing sound passes near your ear. You wave your hand, then look down and see a mosquito sitting on your arm. Another one is near your ankle. Smack. You hit your arm with your hand, but the mosquito has already flown away. A few minutes later, a small red bump rises on your skin, and the itching begins. That tiny red bump creates a very simple question. If mosquitoes survive by taking blood quietly, why do they leave behind an itchy mark that tells us exactly what happened? Wouldn't it be better if they could bite without swelling, without itching, and without making us notice them at all? The answer is that mosquitoes do not make us itch on purpose. The itch is a side effect of how some mosquitoes feed and how our immune system reacts to their saliva. Before we explain the itch, we need to understand mosquitoes themselves. There are more than 3,000 described mosquito species on Earth. Some of the best-known groups are Aedes, Culex, and Anopheles, because these include species that often live near humans and can spread diseases such as dengue, Zika, malaria, and other infections. But not every mosquito behaves the same way, and not every mosquito is looking for human blood. The most important fact is this: male mosquitoes do not suck blood. They mostly feed on sugar sources such as nectar and plant juices. They do not produce eggs, so they do not need the proteins and nutrients from blood for reproduction. Their mouthparts are also not adapted to pierce skin and draw blood the way female mosquitoes do. When people complain about mosquito bites, they are usually talking about female mosquitoes. Female mosquitoes in many species take blood because blood helps them produce eggs. Sugar gives mosquitoes energy to live and fly, but blood provides nutrients that help egg development. So when a female mosquito lands on your skin, she is not just taking a random snack. She is collecting resources for reproduction. From her point of view, a successful blood meal can help her develop eggs and produce the next generation. Mosquitoes live in many parts of the world, except the coldest regions, such as Antarctica. They become especially common in warm, wet, shaded environments. They need water for their life cycle, so standing water is one of the biggest reasons mosquitoes gather around homes and neighborhoods. Buckets, flower pots, old tires, gutters, ponds, drains, and any small container that holds rainwater can become a breeding place. Adult mosquitoes may also rest in dark, humid places such as thick plants, corners, under furniture, behind curtains, or near damp areas. Now look at the bite itself. Your body is not an open container of blood. Blood is protected under the skin, inside blood vessels, and surrounded by defense systems. When skin is injured, your body responds. Blood can clot, blood vessels can change, immune cells can move toward the area, and nerves can send warning signals. These reactions protect you from bleeding, infection, and injury. But for a mosquito, they create a problem. If the blood clots too quickly, feeding becomes harder. If you feel the bite too quickly, the mosquito may be killed before it finishes. That is why the mosquito uses saliva. When a female mosquito pierces your skin with her proboscis, she injects saliva into the area. The proboscis may look like one tiny needle, but it is actually a specialized feeding tool. It helps the mosquito enter the skin, deliver saliva, and draw blood. The saliva contains substances that help the mosquito feed. Some of these substances are anticoagulants, meaning they slow down the normal clotting process. Others help blood continue flowing or affect the local reaction in the skin. In simple words, mosquito saliva is a tiny chemical toolkit. It helps the mosquito keep the blood meal possible long enough to feed. Without saliva, blood could clot too quickly, the feeding process could become slower, and the mosquito would have a higher chance of being interrupted. So the saliva is not there to make you itch. It is there because the mosquito needs it to drink blood efficiently. The problem is that your body does not see mosquito saliva as useful. To your immune system, the proteins and chemicals in that saliva are foreign substances. They are not supposed to be inside your skin. So your body reacts. One important chemical messenger in this reaction is histamine. Histamine tells nearby blood vessels to open up and makes the area more active, allowing immune cells and fluid to move toward the bite. That reaction is useful for defense, but it also creates the symptoms we hate. More fluid and immune activity in the area can cause swelling. Increased blood flow can cause redness and warmth. Irritated nerves in the skin create the feeling of itching. So the itchy bump is not mainly caused by the tiny hole itself. It is mostly caused by your immune system reacting to mosquito saliva. This is why the bite can feel strange. The mosquito may take only a tiny amount of blood, but your body's reaction can feel much larger than the bite itself. A small feeding event becomes a red, swollen, itchy bump because your immune system is treating the saliva as something that needs attention. The mosquito has one goal: make blood easier to drink. Your body has another goal: respond to foreign material entering the skin. The itch happens where those two goals meet. The timing also matters. Many people do not feel the mosquito bite clearly while it is happening. Sometimes you notice the mosquito landing, but many times you only discover the bite later. That is because the immune reaction takes time to build. Histamine and other inflammatory signals do not always create strong itching at the exact moment of the bite. By the time the bump becomes obvious, the mosquito may already be gone. This answers the main question. Would it be better for mosquitoes if their bites never caused itching at all? Probably yes. A completely silent bite would be even harder to detect. But evolution does not always create perfect solutions. It keeps traits that work well enough. Mosquito saliva helps female mosquitoes feed. If the itching usually becomes strongest after the mosquito has already left, then the itch may be very annoying for us, but it does not stop the mosquito that already escaped. A simple way to understand this is to think of the itch as a late alarm. If an alarm rings before a thief enters a house, the thief may run away. If it rings while the thief is still inside, the thief may get caught. But if it rings after the thief has already left, the alarm tells you something happened, but does not stop that theft. A mosquito bite works in a similar way. Your immune system reacts, but the strongest reaction often comes too late to stop the mosquito that caused it. This does not mean mosquitoes are intelligent planners. Evolution is not a mind that designs perfect creatures. It works through variation and survival. If a trait helps an organism survive and reproduce, it can become common. Saliva that helps a female mosquito take blood is useful. If that same saliva causes itching later, the trade-off can still remain because the benefit happens during feeding, while the cost often appears after feeding. This is why the mosquito's method is not perfect, but it is effective enough. The bite does not need to be invisible forever. It only needs to be quiet long enough for the mosquito to feed and escape. From our point of view, the itch is the main event because it is what we feel. From the mosquito's point of view, the main event is already finished once the blood meal is taken. People also react to mosquito bites differently. Some people get a tiny bump that disappears quickly. Others get large, hot, swollen bites that itch for days. This difference is often not because one mosquito took much more blood than another. It is because different immune systems react differently to mosquito saliva. Some people are more sensitive to the proteins in the saliva, so their bodies create a stronger inflammatory response. In stronger cases, people can experience a reaction often called Skeeter syndrome. This is a larger local reaction to proteins in mosquito saliva. It can involve more swelling, redness, heat, pain, and intense itching than an ordinary mosquito bite. Most bites are minor, but severe swelling, fever, trouble breathing, or symptoms that keep getting worse should be taken seriously and checked by a medical professional. Other people barely react at all. They may think mosquitoes do not bite them, when in reality they may simply not swell or itch much. This is why two people can sit in the same place and tell completely different stories afterward. One person says they were attacked by mosquitoes all evening. Another person says they barely noticed anything. Sometimes one person truly attracted more mosquitoes, but sometimes the difference is the body's reaction after the bite. So why do mosquitoes seem to choose some people more than others? The old phrase, sweet blood, is easy to remember, but it is not a scientific explanation. Mosquitoes do not taste your blood from far away before deciding to land. They follow signals from outside the body. Important signals include carbon dioxide from your breath, body heat, moisture, skin odor, sweat-related chemicals, and sometimes visual cues such as dark clothing or contrast. Carbon dioxide is especially important because it works like a long-distance clue. When you breathe out, you release CO2, and that can help mosquitoes detect that a living animal is nearby. As they get closer, other signals become more important, such as warmth, odor, and moisture from the skin. This is why someone who has been exercising may attract more mosquitoes. After exercise, a person may breathe more heavily, produce more body heat, and sweat more, creating stronger signals for mosquitoes to follow. Alcohol and blood type are often mentioned too. but they should be explained carefully. Some studies suggest alcohol may make some people more attractive to mosquitoes in certain situations, possibly by changing body odor, sweating, or body temperature. Blood type has also been studied, and some findings suggest certain mosquitoes may show different attraction patterns, including possible preference related to type O in some conditions, but neither alcohol nor blood type is a complete explanation. Mosquito attraction usually depends on a mixture of signals, not one single cause. The place matters too. If you stand near still water, thick plants, damp shade, or dark humid corners, you are more likely to meet mosquitoes. Aedes mosquitoes, which can spread dengue and Zika, often do well in urban areas and can breed in small containers of standing water. Some Anopheles mosquitoes are known for spreading malaria in many regions, and are often linked to environments that support their breeding and resting habits. So mosquito bites are not only about your body, they are also about the mosquito species and the environment around you. This is why prevention focuses on two simple ideas. Stop mosquitoes from breeding and stop them from reaching your skin. Removing standing water is one of the most important steps because it attacks the mosquito life cycle before adults emerge. Covering water containers, cleaning gutters, emptying buckets, changing flowerpot water, and removing objects that collect rain can reduce breeding sites. Screens, bed nets, fans, long sleeves, and repellents can also help reduce bites by making it harder for female mosquitoes to reach you. Now the whole story is clear. A female mosquito needs blood in many species to help produce eggs. To get that blood, she pierces the skin and injects saliva. The saliva contains substances that help stop blood from clotting too quickly and make feeding easier. Your immune system recognizes the saliva as foreign material. Histamine and other immune signals create redness, swelling, and itching. The mosquito often leaves before the reaction becomes strong. So mosquito bites do not itch because mosquitoes are trying to annoy us. They do not itch because your blood is sweet, and they do not itch mainly because of the tiny puncture alone. They itch because mosquito saliva helps the mosquito feed, and your immune system reacts to that saliva. The mosquito only needs enough time to finish the blood meal. The itch comes later, like an alarm that starts ringing after the mosquito has already escaped. The next time you walk through a park, hear that thin buzzing sound, and later notice a red itchy bump on your skin, you are seeing a small biological conflict. The mosquito is trying to use your blood to help produce the next generation. Your body is trying to defend the skin from foreign substances. The red bump is where those two systems meet. It is annoying, but it tells the real story. The mosquito did not need to hide forever. It only needed to succeed for a few minutes.